Welcome back to Straight Facts. It's Friday. Hit those like buttons. Make sure you are subscribing to the show. Chelsea in what can only be described as a bit of an injury crisis at the moment. Palmer will be out for at least the next 4 to 6 fixtures for Chelsea. How will they cope without him? As Chelsea fans online go into a little bit of a mini meltdown, at least, with some of their own content creators calling out their journalists for questions to be answered. No win in their last 3 games against real opposition. No disrespect to Lincoln. I think everybody expected that to happen. We're talking Arsenal. Saka's new deal is on the cards after Saliba's. A big boost for them ahead of a massive game against Newcastle on Sunday. Liverpool travel to Selhurst Park, the home of what was it? What did they used to call it? Not Istanbul. They called it anyway. Someone will tell us. It has something to do with Istanbul in it, where they have collapsed a few times. Can they continue their 100% record? Also, we're looking at Man United, who will be missing Mazraoui and Ahmad this weekend. Ahmad's, of course, had a bereavement in the family and is away dealing with that. So quite a bit to go through, quite a lot to talk about. Plus, we're picking our team of the season based on the new transfers. And we've done it a little differently this time as well. So we're doing that later in the show. Chris Istanbul, that's the one. Chris Istanbul. I knew there was something to do with Istanbul in there. But Staffy, Don, how are you both? Or Staffy, because Don is back. Here he is.
Yeah, Terry, let me just change devices. The guy's downstairs, yeah? Give me a sec.
All right, no worries. We'll carry on.
Cool.
And see you in a bit.
Yeah, I'm doing well, bro. Doing well. Football's back tomorrow. It was a boring week because of the League Cup. I don't really think anyone cares that massively with the League Cup. There was no big upsets. There was no big matchups. So I'm excited actually for the games tomorrow. And I clocked yesterday, all the big teams, bar the Arsenal game, they actually do play tomorrow, which is something I don't like. Too many good teams, games on the TV at the same time. I don't know why they do that. Someone told me it's a little bit because of the UCL scheduling. So they have to play those teams during the same time so they get proper rest before the Champions League. I think it's a little bit silly. But yeah, a lot of good games tomorrow.
Yeah, I do agree. I think I personally think it's ridiculous that they have so many games that clash. I also look at the fact that Sunderland and United and Brentford are not in Europe. I get where to first, but you could really spread it out. We could be tonight. We haven't played for a week, nor Brentford. United should probably be on a Friday night. You could then move one of the 3 o'clock games that we all want to watch to midday. You can. There's not much on Sunday. They used to do Super Sundays years ago, where you'd have a 12 o'clock, like a 2:30, and like a 5 o'clock game. They really could just. I know there's match-going fans that have work and travel commitments, but that's what they should be working with everybody in conjunction. Spread the games out more so that people watching at home and around the world can see more games. But equally, I just think it makes things more entertaining. And I like a little bit of a gap between the games as well, where, especially as content creators, we want to talk about it. But even when I used to watch at home, you see a big game finishes, you and your mates want to debate, have a chat about it, but the next one's kicking off. I like it a bit like that. But yeah, it's not great. Not great in relation to that. But loads to go through today, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to getting your views, getting your opinions on all of these topics. I did want to start with Chelsea because they've got a lot going on there at the moment, but Don's computer again is yeah. I mean, I will say this. I'm going to say it behind his back, not like he isn't going to see it, but I am disappointed with a lot of our Chelsea contingent on the terrace. I haven't seen Don in a week. He did come onto the match reaction, but didn't turn his camera on. And I just sort of look and go, Don, he gets away with it now. You know, since he started doing Straight Facts and he's earning a bit of money, doesn't come on the match reactions, doesn't come on the early week shows. And whenever Chelsea do need a cooking, he just ducks it on the Football Terrace. He ducks it.
I mean, he's going to get cooked today because they're in a horrible form. The last 3 games, no wins. Horrible performances, I'll be honest. Coward of a manager last week, Maresca for what he did. And a lot of listen, I'm hearing a lot of Chelsea fans now saying, to be fair, some of them have been consistent, but a lot of new people are saying, oh, but you know, the team isn't as good and the signings weren't that great. And I felt like we weren't having some of these convos in the summer. A lot of us rivals actually were a little bit sold on this team during the summer. So there's a lot that needs to be talked about today. I actually wanted to save that section to where he did, because I could talk about Chelsea, but I really want to hear a lot from him because there's so many questions around this Chelsea team. And they play Brighton on the weekend, a team that they lost the last time they played them. They lost those back-to-back games, the one in the cup and then in the league, and they lost 3-0 to them. So this is not historically an easy game for them. So they could potentially be seeing themselves winless in 4, and then they got Liverpool. And the whole narrative around Chelsea, I think, it changes massively based on these 2 games. You get 6 points or you get 0 points, a lot is going to change. So I'm gonna wait for him, bro. I'm gonna wait for him.
Yeah, I want to wait for him as well, and I actually mean it with a lot of respect as well. I want to know what his thoughts and feelings are right now, because I think there are some opinions about Chelsea where it's meltdown central. There are some opinions about Chelsea where I think there is like no concern at all, and I never believe people when there's no concern at all. I always think, when you're doing well, there's got to be people have concerns about their team. Oh, I really want to win this game, or whatever it may be. So, yeah, I do sort of feel, I really want to hear from him as well. So hopefully he gets his computer and everything sorted out in the next little bit of time. So let's start with Liverpool. I'm going to start with Liverpool today, and they go away. And look, this is an opportunity for you, though, Staffy. This is an opportunity for you to not have an epic foul. This is an opportunity for you to say things as they are, but there is the possibility that this is the hardest game so far of the season for Liverpool. They go away to Crystal Palace. Yes, Isak is ready to play, but will you get 90 minutes out of him? No one's sure. Ekitike got himself banned, but Palce are unbeaten in 19 games in all competitions. I think they've only lost something like 3 games in almost 12 months of football. Could they be the team that stops this 100% record of Liverpool's this weekend?
First of all, I'd like to apologize for my epic fail of last week. Apologies to all the Liverpool fans. I'm sorry I offended you guys by my epic fail of predicting a 3-2. I should have predicted a 2-1. I was insanely out of order. How dare I say the game might be competitive and Liverpool win? It's not like the game was competitive in the second half at all. It's not like Everton almost got themselves back in the game second half at all. I sincerely apologize for all the Liverpool fans I offended. I've made a decision that every time I get asked about Liverpool, I'm going to predict a win, and I'm going to say nothing about the game. So, Terry, they're going to win 38 games out of 38 games. We can move to the next topic. Obviously, I'm joking a little bit here. We'll talk about it. But I feel like that's what people want me to do. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, they're 100% right now. It's not that they're not. It's not. I can't even say they're undefeated. They've won every game, generally everything in the league, in the Champions League, and in the League Cup. These guys are just like they're just winning. They're winning, and they're not even performing at their best, which is amazing. Because what happens when they do perform at their best? This team still has a gear, a level or 2 to go up from. Isak is not even 100% in terms of like match fitness over the last few games. Hasn't really built that much chemistry with a lot of his teammates. There's a lot of players that are still not performing at their best. I think Mo Salah started the season slow, even though I think he does have 3 goals already, something like that. But he still started the season slow. He hasn't been performing well in every game. Wirtz has been hit and miss based on almost every game right now. And Ekitike, I mean, as he's suspended, but he's probably been the best player for them this season, him and Gravenberch. Defensively in games, we've seen him good. I think they looked very, very, very comfortable in that Everton first half. And I will be honest, I was very impressed by them because that was the best half of football that they played so far. For everyone who's trying to say, oh, you were planting the seed. So if Everton win, you could say, oh, I told you so. It was never the case because I didn't predict them to win. But that was, if you ask most Liverpool fans, that was the best half of football they played all season. Yeah. And let's not sit here and pretend that after saying all that, Arne Slot just ignored what he thinks is wrong with that team and didn't make any changes. We were justified to say that because Arne Slot, rightfully so, dropped who last game? Dropped Wirtz. So when we were sitting here and we were saying there was concerns about this Liverpool team's performance, not the results, obviously, even Arne Slot acknowledged that. And they had their best half of football, in my opinion, in that first half in the Everton game. But they're going into this game, no Ekitike, who I think has been their best striker. But I think it's a double-edged sword. And actually, no, that's not the term I want to use. There's a blessing in disguise in this suspension, and I'll tell you why. I think Ekitike has been very good. Terry, I wanted him at United in the summer, so it tells you how big I was on Ekitike anyways. And let's be honest, the guy's just scoring for fun to the point that he got suspended because he decided to do a Lionel Messi celebration against who they playing against? Southampton. Absolutely shameless. It was disgusting. I can't lie. on a tap in as well. Like, bro, like save it for a goal where you dribble like 4 or 5 defenders and then score.
You could have saved it to the bridge if you scored against us. You could have saved it for the bridge.
Just saved it for a bigger occasion. I don't know. But of all the goals, I don't know why that's the one he did that. But the blessing in disguise, in my opinion, is going to be Isak. And here's why. Talking with a lot of Liverpool fans and watching the Liverpool games, it is evidential that Wirtz has been performing better when Isak is on the pitch, which is great because Isak should be eventually the undisputed starter for this team. Yes, he's going to be rotating with Ekitike, but let's be honest, you didn't break the record to have him come off the bench every game for Ekitike. He will eventually be starting in that role, whether as a 2 striker or just 1 striker, whatever it is, he will be the top striker in this team eventually. Wirtz's best performances, in my opinion, have been coming with Isak on the pitch. One of the things that has been brought to my attention, I was like, that makes sense, is that Ekitike likes to occupy the left side a lot, which is something what Wirtz does. When Wirtz came on last game, he also played a lot on the left. When they occupy the same spaces, I feel like that's one of the reasons Wirtz has been struggling. Versus when you have Isak, who was a little bit more centrally. Yes, he can do the link up and all that, but he's also moving in those striker areas where Wirtz, now he has a little bit more freedom on the left, and he can actually go for a striker who's in his natural positions. I think that helped him massively. And I think that's going to help him this game. Now, you did mention that Crystal Palace haven't lost in the last 19, and that is true. So technically, if you do want to predict a game that Liverpool drop points, this is probably a good chance to do it because you're going against a team that not only they're a little bit of a bogey team for Liverpool, they don't really like. You look at the recent results in the Selhurst Park as well. It's not usually high scoring games. Liverpool, yeah, they could win, but it's kind of a tough trip for them. This is probably if you want to speak logically, this is the best chance for them to drop points. If you want to predict, all right, this is the first game where they're going to drop points. I don't know if they will. I think Palace has been very good defensively. They got their centre backs, Lacroix especially. They've been very good. I think him, Guéhi, the way Glasner has this team set up, they're very dynamic. It's hard to break them down. And they're very good on the transition, even though they don't have Ismail Assar. So you could predict that this is the chance for them to finally drop points. It would make sense. I wouldn't look at anyone who predicts a Palace win. I'm not going to predict a Palace win, but if you predict a draw at least, it does make a lot of sense. But I'm going to be looking massively at Isak this game because I want to see what happens now when the best performing striker for them this season, Ekitike, is out, and you are supposed to be the better player anyways. Let me see what you're going to do now when you're starting. Plus, let's not pretend someone in chat said Sarr is available. All right, I didn't know that. I know he's out the last couple games, but even worse now for Liverpool because now one of their best players is back. Point remains the same. I'm looking at Isak this game. You've been in this league. You've been here. You've done that. Now show us what you can do this game. You're going against one of the best defenses in the league. Doesn't matter. I still expect you to do something in this game. So that's what I'm going to be looking at.
No, 100%.
Yeah. So, Gondon, over to you. What do you make of this game? Because I don't even think it's about hate on Liverpool. I think a lot of people would like to maybe see Liverpool drop some points. I think people that actually care about there being a title race forget maybe sort of top 6 fans who have their own agendas. I think a lot of people would like to see Liverpool's gap shorten this weekend and then they go to the Chelsea game next week because it keeps the drama high. Can you see Palace pulling off another fantastic result against another top side?
I can see it if they score first, right? Because it's not Anfield. That's the main thing for me because Staffy's spot on when he speaks about the game last week. Like Everton in that second half, they made it home. You know, they made Anfield.
Wait, it wasn't an epic fail? I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought it was an epic. I thought it was an epic fail as well, Steph. Yeah, but
big fail, man.
Liverpool over the past few seasons at Selhurst Park and that. I don't remember every single game, but I remember recently they had, I think Harvey Elliott scored in like the last minute. So they've got a good record there in terms of the results, but it's never been like a smooth sailing win for them when they go to this place, man. It never is away at Palace, right? But yeah, if Palace score first, trying to break down that team, the structure, the way that they defend their box, these guys are full of Goliaths, the way that they attack as well on the other end of the pitch. They're going to have opportunities on the transition of the likes of Munoz. You've spoken about Sarr already. We know what Mateta is all about as well. If you want anyone who can actually, grapple with Van Dijk and Konate and these sort of guys, he's the perfect profile to do it. You know what I'm saying, bro? So The only way I see Liverpool really dropping points in this game is if Palace score first, because I don't really see Liverpool outscoring them if Palace score first. Obviously, if Palace score like early on in the game, then you've got the whole game in it. But bro, I know how these guys defend, man. They're very, very good defensively. Very, very good defensively. And like I said,
don't forget they already matched up early in the season in the Community Shield. And I know a lot of people don't like that to take that game seriously, but we know they kind of went out for it, both teams. Yeah, and we saw the matchup and we saw the dynamics. Yeah, 100%, bro. Like every single player on that pitch that plays for Palace, they know exactly what their role is, and that's props to Glasner. You know what I mean? He's not gonna be a Palace for long, right? When's their game in Poland? Because I saw them advertising it earlier.
It'll be Thursday. It'll be they'll be playing every Thursday now moving forward.
Oh yeah, they've got enough time. They've got enough time to recover. But yeah, man, just don't concede first. If I was a Liverpool fan, I'll be saying right now, do not concede first, bro.
Yeah, look, I think I am predicting Palace to draw. I'm not predicting Palace to win. I think Palace are going to get a draw.
Up yourself. Be careful. You're going to upset the Liverpool fans. Can't say that.
The thing is, I'm not like you. I'm not like you two. I'm not like you two where I give two opinions in the same answer, so I can always say I'm right. I know what you man do.
Oh, shut up.
I haven't just been in this game for a long time. Like I invented this. You're looking at a pioneer. Do you know what I'm saying? So I understand these things, right? It's you know, you sat on a panel show before. Terry Flew has invented these things, man. We've got to understand this, right? But on a level, I think Palace are going to get a draw. And I don't even think a draw. Look, Liverpool, they could go invincible. Been done once in the Prem, been done twice in English football history. They could do it, but they're going to drop points. And I just think this weekend is going to be the weekend they do. I don't even think it's going to be because Liverpool play badly. It's more about Palace being so hard to beat. And I think there'll be a draw. I think there'll be a score draw as well. My prediction would be 2-2. I think it's going to be a great game. The one thing, I know we mentioned it at the top of the show that's annoyed me about it, is it's a 3 o'clock. Now, I've got Satanta Sport. Big up yourself. You guys want the link up? DM me. I'll show you how to set it all up. It's legal as well, by the way. I keep getting people on my Twitter going, are you advertising illegal streaming? It's not. It's completely legal. It's just using a VPN and I'm paying for the service. There's nothing wrong with that. It might be against the terms of service of the TV company, but that's not. You're not breaking the law, breaking the term. Imagine that, like you break the terms of a lease of a car. You don't go to prison. It's not a criminal offense, for God's sake. So people got to calm down. But that's the only issue I've got with the game. It's at 3 o'clock. And it really should be a standalone game by itself because Palace have been one of the best teams in England for the past 12 months. They're playing the current best team in England. Honestly, I think the people that run the Premier League and Sky from a entertainment's point of view, I just think they're so out of touch. Every single football fan in England wants to watch this game. And yet they're sticking it. It's fine for an international fan. You guys get all the games. Like you're not even going to think about it. But it's still on at 3 o'clock with 2 or 3 other matches.
It's the same time with Chelsea Brighton, bro. And even that's a little spicy one as well.
Chelsea Brighton is nearly always a good game as well. The fact that both these matches are not on TV, personally, I think is absolutely horrendous. But in terms of the game, of course, Liverpool can win. But my prediction is 2-2. I think it's going to be a draw. And it sets up the Arsenal game really nicely as well, because I almost want there to be the pressure I want on Arsenal this Sunday. And I'm talking purely as a spectator and a lover of this game. Is Arsenal, I want the door open for Arsenal to close the gap. It is good pressure if Liverpool win, and they've got to win to stop it being an 8-point gap. But I think it's a different type of disappointment if Arsenal don't do it. It's the anger of not grasping an opportunity versus, well, the league title race is over. Because it just means, even if you enjoy bantering Arsenal, you're not going to be able to do it as much if Liverpool win and they lose, because they're not going to show up. They're going to say the title race is over in September. You're not going to see anyone. They're going to do what Don does every time Chelsea lose now. We don't see him until the following Friday. He's on all the other channels. He's on all the other channels, but not the terrorists. You know, not the one that gave me. You know, I feel. Do you know what it is, Don? I had to go see my priest just to get over how upset I felt. I was struggling.
The weeks are getting busy, man. I'm at games. You know, Monday I'm on a show with rants. Like, bro, there's clashes, man. There's clashes. You know what I mean?
It's horrendous, man. It's horrendous. No, I'm only messing, but yeah, look, I think they'll do it. I think it's gonna be a great game. I think it's gonna be high quality as well. I think it's been a really high quality game, and that includes high quality defending. I know there's a lot of football fans in the modern day game that sort of quote unquote don't enjoy good defending. I think it's great. I think there's been loads of it this season. It kind of takes me back to when I first not got into football. I got into football in the 80s and early 90s, but the 90s in the Premier League, the early noughties, those years, I remember every game week. I remember the whole seasons. There's so many top clashes, and teams could really defend back then. It was hard to beat teams, and I feel like we lost that a little bit. I feel like our top teams in England for about 3 or 4 years, maybe more, it was almost a little bit of a walk in the park to beat most sides. And I like the fact it's become harder. So yeah, I'm going with a 2-2 draw. Viewers, give us your thoughts, give us your opinions, but also make sure you're hitting that like button, please, people. Let's get the likes up right now. Crazy low right now. Crazy low.
I was listening to your show yesterday. Big yourself up on that new. It's a new show that you've started, isn't it?
I'm just trying some new things because I'll be honest with you, I don't mean it rudely. It's not about any individual. I'm personally bored of just being on constant panel shows, and I thought I need to speak to my audience more. And I think we're going to change it next week and do calls earlier in the show. Just got to work things out. But yeah, challenge me.
Yeah. So I was listening to what you were saying about Arsenal and their fan base, and how they seem to be a fan base where if everything's sort of negative within the fan base, it kind of seeps into the changing room to say. And obviously, Arteta right now, bro, is under a lot of pressure. Right? Obviously, I don't want Liverpool to win the game. You know what I mean? I don't think, as it is right now, Chelsea playing as they are right now, we're not in a title race. Forget about it, right? But we're still in a position where we're still near enough to at least get by and hopefully start to get everyone back and Maresca to improve and the players to improve. So I want to be in touching distance of them. But if Liverpool win the game, yeah, that's a massive, massive game now for Arsenal. It's a must-win regardless, but that's a different type of pressure. You know what I'm saying? You can argue that if Liverpool lose, that's more pressure because it's like, if Arsenal win, they're right behind them again. But you're going away to a ground, where you barely ever win. You normally go there and you shit yourself. You know what I'm saying? You shit yourself, bro. And Newcastle, you know how it gets when it's time to play Arsenal. Eddie Howe usually has Arteta's number. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, this time around they ain't got Isak. They've got that what's it called? Woti. What's my man's name? I forgot his name. The tall brother.
Ultimator.
They got Ultimator, which is a big difference to Isak because Isak usually turns up against Arsenal, but it's still gonna be a massive one mentality-wise. Again, with the pressure that's on Arteta right now.
No, of course, it's what this weekend.
For the love of the game, Terry, I slightly want to see that. I can't lie.
I hear you. My only concern, and maybe it's because I'm a content creator, and last year we all saw it. The season died off early. I don't want the season to be over before it's begun. And I watched something on Bleacher Report today where they were interviewing United fans about who they'd rather win the league, and the majority of them said Arsenal, because this was filmed up in Manchester. And I'm seeing, I'm from London and I'm a Man United fan, so I'm talking about my people. The man going, nah, I can't bear Arsenal winning it. I just sit there and think to myself, I do challenge your love of Manchester United and your understanding of the club. And I do mean that. And I'm talking international fans, out-of-town fans, everything. I've said this before. Who's your biggest op when it comes to baseball, Staffy? Or basketball?
Baseball.
Whatever. You're wearing a baseball hat. I thought you watched baseball.
You wear baseball hats too. Do you watch baseball?
You're from the home of baseball. I watch cricket. But basketball, who's your biggest op?
For the Knicks, the Celtics.
Okay, so I think we've had this conversation before. For me, if you're from Timbuktu, if you're from Mars, if you're from another galaxy, if you're from London and England, if you support the Knicks, I don't care what happens on social media, your biggest ops have also got to be the Celtics. I think you have to adopt the traditions of a football club when you decide to support it. I don't think it should be an unwritten rule. I think it should become the Constitution in America. I think it should become international law that Interpol regulates, because I'm sick and tired of people going, well, that ain't how I support the club. It's not your fucking choice, mate. Liverpool are our biggest rivals. No matter what happens, I don't care how annoying your gal is. Liverpool are our biggest rivals and City are number 2. So, yeah, if I have a choice between the three, I'd always prefer Arsenal to win it. Personally, I'd rather Chelsea win it out of all the capable teams, because Chelsea are my least biggest rival. But, yeah, I just couldn't believe what I seen on Bleacher Report. People crying about Arsenal winning it. I'm like, oh, my God. Igal would be so annoying. I saw one guy at Igal. Igal would be so annoying. not as annoying as our biggest rivals winning the league, you pleb. Honestly, Elon, Metropolitan Police, act.
Yeah,
act
but it's
now.
just it's the frequency of Arsenal fans, bro. Like, I know a lot of Liverpool fans, innit? And obviously, since I've been doing content, I've met more, yeah. But bro, like in my personal life, I don't know that many. You know what I mean? There's a few that I can pick out, maybe 5 or 6. But Arsenal fans, broski, I know so many of them. I know a lot of Arsenal and United fans. They're the biggest fan base that I know. You know what I mean? And that's what it is, Terry, because you're around these guys more often. So people forget about the club to club rivalry. It's more like a friendship rivalry sort of thing, innit? Do you know what I'm saying?
I get it, but fuck that shit. Yeah, again, maybe it's just my way of looking at the world. Your club comes first before banter between you and your mates. For me personally, otherwise, I just don't think football's for you. It's the club.
The thing is, Terry, I can't lie, bro. Like London United fans, they don't feel that. They don't feel the same hate for Liverpool. I'll be real. They hate Arsenal more because they're not around it. You're just not around it, so you can't really force it.
Yeah, no, I
agree. I've noticed that.
I do.
From interacting with United fans, it's usually the London ones that hate Arsenal the most. Everyone else doesn't, especially the ones that live in Manchester.
Like Saeed, for example. Saeed hates, bro. He don't mind Arsenal. Saeed don't actually mind Arsenal. It's the Liverpool he hates, and City obviously because he's up there. But the United fans from London, bro, it's Arsenal.
When we were going for leagues, us and Arsenal, I'm pretty sure most of them as kids, when they went to school, that's all they dealt with. It was Arsenal versus United, but it was the rivalry just on the pitch. When you look at the United's rivalry, it's more rivalries between cities as well. Like I looked it up years ago. I wanted to understand the hatred. Both of them being from north of England, the rivalry was way more than just the football at some point. Because at some point, I mean, Liverpool was way too dominant anyways for Man United, but they still always hated each other. It's like it was a rivalry between cities. Like it's like when you just asked me about the Celtics, it's not because of championships. They have way more championships than us. But it's a rivalry between Boston and New York, as an example, two major cities.
Yeah, Liverpool and Manchester, their rivalry didn't start because of football. The rivalry started because, and I'm going to end up getting the decade wrong, I think it was in the 60s, late 60s, maybe early 70s, Manchester started stealing and taking a lot of the docking work away from Merseyside and Liverpool. So the cities started to hate on each other. And that's where it comes. But that's why the traditions are important, because I think I understand that new thing. I don't like, I've got a rivalry of Arsenal, and our rivalry, the night it made the Premier League, the Man United, Arsenal, Fergie, Wenger rivalry. Without it, I don't think the Premier League is as big as it is now. It was an important part of both our histories. But I believe in the traditions of those things, and you've got to learn why the cities don't like each other. I met this Scandinavian guy at a game years ago, and we were playing Leeds in the FA Cup, and he was so up for it. I said, "Oh, you see him up for this?" And he started talking about the War of the Roses, or Flowers, sorry, whatever it was. I forget. And I'm sitting there going, "You know all about that war?" He went, "Well, how can I be a Man United fan and not understand our rivalries and then not learn about our history and our rivalries and why we don't like certain clubs?" He went, "You're not," and I was a bit younger than him, maybe by about 5 or 6 years. And he just said, "How can I pretend to be a fan if I don't know any of this?" And I just thought, yeah, you're right. Like, I never thought about it that deeply. I was like, yeah, they beat us that day, Leeds. Jermaine Beckford, fuck me. That was a horrible day. But yeah,
a throwback.
A man like,
when I was at Old Trafford last week, yeah, Jesus, bro. I thought it was tourists at Stamford Bridge, broski. I was trying to find out where the East Stand is to try and find Saeed. Yeah, I'm asking people, yo, where's the East Stand? Every single person I asked was a tourist. Every single person, bro. There wasn't a single Mancunian that I actually asked. It was just all tourists, bro.
So it shows our club people queue up to watch Man United play, unlike Chelsea. Like people, you actually admitting that people queue up to watch us play.
No, I'm just saying.
We ain't deflecting because we're long enough into the show now, bro.
Do your worst, man. I got nothing left.
What happened? Because for me, you took. I know it only ended up being 2-1. Casemiro stupidly got himself sent off and it killed the game. It really should have been a beating. And I think you know as well as I do, if that stayed 11v10, you'd have got an absolute hiding. But we came out like a freight train, blew you away in the first 5 minutes. Your goalkeeper going crazy. Maresca making all kinds of mad substitutions, killing his team. Palmer then gets injured. Talk to us, Don, about your humbling at the hands of the worst Manchester United team in 40 years.
Bro, the worst thing that could have happened again, right? You know what I'm saying, bro? What the hell? What is that? We're cursed, man. I told you lot this last week, bro. I said we're cursed. Even when the lineup came out, I was literally in Manchester. You know, I was texting KJ. KJ was like, "Yo, we're cooked." I said, "Bro, your lineup's shit, but trust me, KJ. Anything can happen in this game. I know this team when we come to Old Trafford. There's just always something that's going on here, right? And I was saying before it's a curse, Terry, yeah, but I actually think it's a real curse. I don't know who's cursed us, but for Sanchez to do that 5 minutes into the game was mad, right? I drove basically nearly 4 hours to get there, and I was sitting there within 5 minutes knowing we've lost the game because I'm seeing Sanchez being sent off. But even after that, I'm seeing Maresca throwing in the towel, bro. Yeah, taking off both of our attackers, making Pedro basically be a one-man machine. He had no one up there to link up with. You've seen him driving with the ball, but who can he pass to? Esteval's on the bench. Can he pass to Neto? No, right? The whole first half was an absolute mess. And I even said to Alex next to me, bro, the only way we come back is if Casemiro gets sent off, because the shape that we're in right now with the 5 defenders, yeah, with three centre-backs and the full-backs, 2 midfielders, 2 up top, we don't play that shape. And I could clearly see it when we were playing. The players were improvising. They didn't know what to do. They're getting the ball, they're struggling to build up because every time they're getting it, there's a spare man for United, bro. You know what I mean? But when you went down to 10 men, you could clearly see, you can argue, oh yeah, we was 2-0 up. We didn't really have to do anything. But I don't think that performance gave any United fans any real, belief or confidence now that we looked a bit different. I think you still look the same. Like the initial wave. Hold on, Terry. The initial
no deflections, please. No deflections here.
I'm not deflecting. I'm being real, right? The first 10, 15 minutes at Old Trafford is always like that. You should know that you need to ride that wave. And unfortunately, we failed to ride that wave. Because initially, bro, you were shooting towards the way end, yeah? And bro, it honestly felt like you were going to score. It was nice where I was sitting because I could see the movement. All your players running in behind. Ahmad, the runs was making in behind. Bruno he kept pinging it to Mbeumo. Mbeumo was looking dangerous. You know what I'm saying, bro? So everything that could have went wrong. Because when the goalkeeper gets sent off, usually you sacrifice the attacker.
I want to say one thing now. I want to jump in a minute because you're going to continue on your soliloquy and then we'll forget you said it. There is an element of truth that we didn't learn loads about Manchester United. However, that's because we blew you away in 5 minutes. Your goalkeeper had a brain fart moment. If he hadn't have done it, we would have gone 1-0 up anyway. Then your manager made some of the most horrendous tactical substitutions I've ever seen in the Premier League. Yes, we didn't learn so much, but that's because we absolutely ruined you. We had your manager so shook, he couldn't think. His brain stopped working. So I do get your point, but I take no shame in that or worrying that as a Manchester United fan, because even then when it went 10v10, yes, one good cross that went in, you scored from. It went 10v10. We're a nervous, dysfunctional, broken team. And I would have made one difference to what Amorim did. I wouldn't have taken Šeško off. But actually, barring that one cross, he didn't do anything.
Well, yeah, because who did we have on the pitch? We had no attackers.
Yeah, but again, but we've been getting bopped up by relegation, outplayed by relegation teams in years gone by. So for me to try and deflect this onto, but we didn't learn nothing about United. The game went about us. We won because this is what happened with the mainstream media. It all got twisted into about United. Hang on a minute, a team that's world champions. A team that's predicted to be in the title race, a team with one of the best midfields in the league, as you have called it, a goalkeeper that you think is better than Donnarumma, a manager you will.
I don't think it's better than Donnarumma. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Got absolutely blown away.
Bro,
you capitulated. Don't twist it onto Man United being bad.
No. Terry, listen. I've given you your prop for your first wave that you were on, right? And listen, for me, Sanchez, just let Mbeumo score. It was a wet day out. He could have gone around he could have gone around the keeper and missed. He could have slipped. Anything could have happened, bro. But there would have been 85 minutes left of the game with an actual attack on the pitch, right? 11v11, bro. I think we beat you. I still think we come back and beat you, but we'll never know. Like Kanye said, I guess we'll never know. You know what I mean? So next year we go again, bro.
I mean, Staffy, I want to ask him some questions about the injury problems they've got now, but do you want to touch on the game at all anymore from last week?
I mean, I disagree with your narrative. I agree when Don said we didn't really learn anything from United. I didn't. I learned more about the manager yet again. But I wasn't really that impressed with the win, outside of the fact that we got the 3 points, which we desperately needed. And a lot of these players, I think mentally, they needed that. You could see the frustrations. You can see the way after we won, Cunha the way he kicked the ball into the crowd right away, it just tells you how much they needed this win. So mentally to them and for their confidence is going to do a lot. In terms of the performance on the pitch, I don't think the performance was that great. I think a lot of other managers would respond to that a lot more positive than our manager did. He saw a manager take off all his attackers, and he still didn't bring on any midfielders or any more attackers to score more goals and control the game. Mind you, it was 0-0 when that happened. And he keeps on 3 center backs versus Joao Pedro. I don't need 3 center backs to mark Joao Pedro. And then
it was even Tariq George. Tariq George. Tariq George came on, bro. He's not a striker.
Yeah, that was later in the game though. But you can do that all you want, bro. But that's the truth. You'll be here when we're back in this situation again. That's fine, bro. That's fine.
No, let Terry think it was an amazing double.
He can do the unreal he wants.
Whoa. What we're not going to do, because you cried last week, Staffy, about the use of a word. I'm not going to allow the use of a word to be mismanipulated. I never said that Manchester United were amazing.
I said Sanchez is better than Donnarumma. So what are we doing? You said you wouldn't swap Donnarumma for Sanchez. You don't see it as a marked improvement. I said I want better than both of them. That's what I said.
Yeah, but you were happier. You were happy to keep Sanchez. So look, we all know what you're implying with that. But for me, right? Plus, it was a bit of a joke. But for me, see, this is what I get frustrated with you, Staffy. I don't think a corner's been turned. I don't think this means we're back or anything along those lines. But even your analysis of what the manager didn't do too much after those subs were changed, he didn't need to do anything. We scored 2 goals, should have scored 2 more, but Ahmad made a brain fart decision again to not cut the ball back to Šeško for a tap in. And Bruno Fernandez made a ridiculous decision to try and play in Šeško rather than playing Ahmad, who was going through, that would have scored. Really, again, and that was, again, one of my issues. And I've called this out every week. Those are chances that we should be taking. We didn't even get shots in those examples. That's not on the manager. If the manager takes off a centre back,
I disagree.
That doesn't change that narrative for me. Equally, the second half's very different because we then went level in terms of the game again, 10v10, and we are a very vulnerable team. I did criticize the manager in terms of I would have preferred to have seen Šeško do things. But what I do find very interesting, and this isn't so much at you, it's on the United fans. In the games earlier on this season that we weren't winning, we were not allowed to focus. We were told to stop. Don't criticize the players at all, or don't focus on any of the positives because the negatives outweigh them. It's all about winning, Terry. We win a game and still but I weren't impressed with this and I weren't impressed with that. I do find it very, very, very duplicitous that 1 minute winning is all that matters. But then when you win, there's still things to criticize. That logic dictates that when you lose, there should still be things you can praise. And that's more my frustration. Do I think United were 10 out of 10?
That's irrelevant to what I said, though, because there's not once this season that I say all I care about is the 3 points. Even when we went to that City game, I said I want a win, but I also need to see a good performance.
Staffy, but I quite clearly said that I literally said, I'm not talking about you when I said
yeah, but I get you said that. But also when you said this is why you have frustrations with me. I don't care what other people say. If that's their point, that's their point. At least my point is consistent. You don't have to like it, but you know it's consistent. If Sunshine only cares about the result, maybe I don't agree with him, but I know he's consistent with it. So he can say louder because he agrees with you. I've at least stayed consistent. I think in year 2, I need to see better performances. And yes, we won. I just wasn't impressed with the performance. And I wasn't impressed with some of the decisions on the pitch. I felt like in the second half, when we needed a little bit more control, he took off a striker who was our focal point, who I felt bad for because I felt like that was the game for him to score. If Ahmed scores a ball to him early in the game, he scores. If he predicts that Bruno was going to come back to him with that one pass that you can tell he just didn't expect it. He probably thought the ball was going to Ahmed. He probably takes a better touch and scores. That whole red card doesn't happen if he doesn't get the ball and flick it on to Mbumo, which is finally something that I've been screaming out for, saying we have a 6'5" striker, put the ball in the air for him, let him do what he does best. He was doing that, by the way, for Leipzig, which he was more of the link-up striker, winning the ball in the air, receiving the ball in the air. And he did that, and in the first 4 minutes, he caused the red card. I am not impressed with some of the decisions the manager made. The guy said before the game, it doesn't matter. If the Pope tells him, he's still not going to do it. So at some point, I got to stop talking about it in terms of expecting it to change. But it doesn't mean I won't call it out. I believe most competent managers will look at this and say, listen, we have a man's advantage. Take off a center back and bring on another midfielder. And even when Casemiro got sent off, we need numbers in the midfield. I can't leave Bruno alone. What do? I have to give him someone in the midfield. So let me take off a center back. So now we can go, technically it would have been 4-3-2 or 4-4-1, however you want to look at it, because we're playing with a man down. Instead, he takes off the striker, and then we just play with 3 defenders. I don't need 3 defenders to play against João Pedro. I don't care what people think. I don't care what people say. We all understand football. No one needs 3 center backs to mark 1 attacker. It's blasphemy. So when he brings on Ugarte as well, force a striker, now you gave up more attacking, and you didn't even bring on a controller. I understand if you want to defend, you didn't need to bring on Ugarte. I believe you could have brought on Mino, but that's fine. Fuck it. You want to go for Ugarte, go ahead. I just don't understand why you took off a striker for it. And then when people said, I was hearing this, a lot of people saying the quality of the game in the second half was shit. The quality was shit. Look at how many defenders were on the pitch from both teams. Their only attacker was João Pedro. Our only attacker was Mbeumo. You have 2 attackers between 20 players on the pitch. What do you expect? It was literally a clown off between both managers. Their manager was the bigger clown, in my opinion, because he was an absolute coward. But I believe our manager played it way too safe. And the proof was there. They scored late. If that game becomes 2-2, everyone is looking at this game differently. The swords would have been out for him and the players.
I do get that, but look, I know you have your agenda again. I wanted to get back to Chelsea.
I don't have an agenda, bro. Stop saying I have an agenda. I have an opinion.
No, but you do have an agenda because last
against
week.
Who now? See, I can't ever say anything negative about this team without me having an agenda. What's the agenda today?
That comment there is why I think you have an agenda. Firstly, we were meant to be.
At least tell me who's the agenda against.
I'm explaining now. First of all, you were like, we're going to cook Staffy. Don, we're on the Chelsea bit, and you drag it into the...
Just ask me for my opinion about United.
No, I was asking you for... I literally said, right, this is why I think you got an agenda, because your brain weren't operating correctly, right? You weren't thinking clearly, because what happened is, I turned around and I was like, we're going to ask him in a minute about all the injury problems at Chelsea. I then went to you and asked you about Chelsea's performance in that game, and you went straight into a disagreement.
No, you didn't. You said anything you want to touch on the game. He just covered Chelsea.
Yeah, about
so
Chelsea.
I'm assuming you want me to cover the other side now.
I literally meant about Chelsea. But the reason why I think you've got an agenda is because
it's ridiculous.
This is why I think it comes across at least as an agenda. So let me readdress that. It comes across like an agenda because you are doing what you got vehemently angry at me doing last week. You don't like any positives being mentioned about Ruben Amorim or things that are perceived as positives. For instance, blaming the players for missing chances. You got very angry at me last week for saying that. You were very frustrated about 90% of it is 90%. You said 90% of it is on the manager, and you push back. I've listened to the.
No, we were talking about the performances, not the missing chance. How can I blame a manager for a player missing a chance? What are you doing here?
You literally pushed back and said 90% of all of this is on Ruben Amorim, and you got very frustrated. No. Stop. Don't lie. We were talking about the game before. And I told you, because you said we have to hold these players accountable. I said for the City game, I didn't look at these players and say they didn't try. I felt like the players were set up to fail because of this manager. We were talking about the City game. I didn't talk about the season. I didn't talk about last season. So don't talk about everything that Ruben Amorim has done in 10 months. We just loop them all together. I didn't do that. We were talking. We weren't just talking last week about one game. We were talking. You came at me about the word fixed, saying it doesn't take 3 or 4 years.
That's a separate conversation, though.
We fixed, but in that conversation, we were talking about the addressing multiple problems. So it wasn't just the whole conversation wasn't about one game. It was about multiple issues at the football club. So it wasn't just about one football match. But from my point of view and perspective, it's this element of you get very frustrated when anything is perceived as defending Ruben Amorim. I don't see criticizing.
I didn't say that though. Where did I say that? I said I don't agree with you, but you're allowed to think that way. How's that me being angry?
Could I please finish? You were very frustrated last week, and it's fine to be emotional and passionate.
I'm frustrated now because you're making up shit. I didn't do any of that.
I'm not making up anything. You most certainly got frustrated. You got frustrated at it, and you get very annoyed when the manager is perceived as being defended. Now, I don't think criticizing Bruno for not playing Ahmad through, I don't think that's defending the manager. I think it's criticizing a separate issue that also needs to be addressed. do I think I've criticized things that you've said as well about Ruben Amorim, but I also don't look at it as I wouldn't have done what you're suggesting. I think what you're suggesting would have been a panic to have gone, right, they've gone down to 10 men. Let's just straight away take a defender off. You've got to manage the situation. If Maresca hadn't have acted so quickly and panicked so quickly, he would have had attackers on the pitch. He would have kept Neto on when Palmer come off and would have given himself more options for what happened later, which you can't judge in a game, but I think you've always got to make decisions with an element of caution. We were under no pressure to win that game 4-5-6-0. Yes, we could have played a little bit better, but he did make the right decisions in the end by and large, because we won the game. And what I find very interesting, now this part isn't on you, Staffy, so please don't take this bit personally, is I get very frustrated at people that say we made all these wrong decisions, but we won. But then when we win a game, it's, yeah, but all that matters is winning. We go, well, let's talk about the things that were positive and maybe what the players could do better. That's all irrelevant. That's the element that I think viewers get frustrated with. But look, with United, we both agree Amorim could have done some things better. We won the game that was important. Now back to Chelsea. Because we were actually on the Chelsea.
Oh, come on, guys! I was enjoying that, man. I was enjoying that. Why?
You're enjoying it because I literally. This is why I was trying to go. Maybe I introduced it back wrong to Staffy. I can hold my hands up. I can't remember exactly what I said, but because
he said if you want to touch on the game, he just spoke about Chelsea. There was no point in me repeating all that.
Yeah, the reason is because I literally said he keeps trying to deflect on Man United. So let's get back to Chelsea. Look what happened. It got deflected. They're the ones who should be getting cooked here. We should be cooking our own team. We won a football match. It's crazy to me.
Cooking my team. I was just calling out things, but we can cook them because they deserve to get cooked more. I left them 3 points.
So on Chelsea,
I'll do that. No problem. But here's where I get accused. My Chelsea agenda. Let's go. My Liverpool agenda's out. My United agenda's out. Let's go to the Chelsea agenda. The agenda boys here. Listen, Don. Let's talk about it, bro. You guys, let's be honest, bro. 3 games in a row, 3 disappointing performances. No wins. Arguably, your better game was actually against Bayern, and you lost that one. What was the score again? 2-1, 3-1? I forgot what the score was. 3-1. 3-1? All right. And that was probably your best game. Against us, crazy game. Early red card. Let's be honest. You can't really... I believe you can't even analyze that game as a real game anyways. I feel like you just have to take it in isolation because of how crazy the events were, the 2 red cards and all that. But major questions about your manager. Why are you doing that?
You sit there, right? Very quickly. I'm saying something for 10 seconds. You sit there and criticize Ruben. And then when it comes to Chelsea, you say you can't really analyze it as a real game, though. Fuck me.
Since you did that again. Here he goes, running again. Terry, bro, he's a runner. He's a rock star, bro. Every time this guy just runs. Come back, man. Come back. We're doing part 2 of last week. We're doing part 2 of last week. Come back, man. Come back. Get some water. Yalla, I'm waiting, man. I'm waiting.
Keep cooking, man. Keep cooking, bro.
No, I'm waiting because you know what it is. I'm so tired of Terry. Look back, do a VAR check on what I said. I literally said there's nothing you can learn from this game outside of the personality of Ruben Amorim. That is what I said. I said you can't analyze this game. There's nothing you can learn from this. That was literally how I started. But Terry, for some reason, never remembers the shit that I say. I didn't even analyze this game analytically in a way where I'm like, look at the performance, look at this, look at that. I just talked about his decisions. That's it. That is a personality trait rather than anything analytical. I said there's nothing we learned from United that game. Now I'm doing the same for Chelsea, but somehow it's an agenda. You are so upset that I just don't come here and glaze United the way you want me to. You want me to say things that you want to hear rather than things that I want to say. And this is why we will continue to always have an issue about that. I am not going to be saying things that you expect. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that is never going to happen. It is absolutely never going to fix Friday. Welcome to Fix Friday, everyone.
I very much.
Goddamn like on the video right now.
I very much appreciate that, and I don't expect anybody to say things I don't want them to. What I find hilarious is, again, you don't think criticizing substitutions, formations, not changing shape, not taking off defenders, if you don't think that is being critical of performance and the analyzing the game, if you just think that's about someone's personality trait, fine. But viewers,
because he was pragmatic. That's all I said.
Viewers,
did I talk about individual performances?
Please let me finish. I didn't interrupt you.
If you would have let me finish my United section, we would have been here. But you interrupted me.
I promise you can sit on your hands and be quiet for 10 seconds. It won't hurt you, Staffy. You'll be absolutely okay.
And why didn't you do that when I was talking about United?
Because I didn't want to. So from my point of view,
okay, but I'm the one who has an agenda here. Look at the double standards. Continue, man. This is your show, anyways. Go ahead.
Well, that's probably more it. But my perspective is this: we're going to hold you to account now. So the next time you talk about a formation and substitutions, etc., that's in your view. That's not you analyzing a game. Is that correct?
Huh?
So when it comes to substitutions, formations, not changing shape, bringing on the wrong players, taking off the wrong players, that's just a personality trait of a manager.
I just called out his subs because I felt at that point of the game when the team is down.
Please answer my question. So
I am answering your question. I am answering your question. You just want to hear it. You're not hearing it. In an unusual circumstances of a game where a team gets a red card in 4 minutes and unprecedented, a manager takes off all his attackers bar one. And this manager was not doing any subs, in my opinion, that were going to improve the team. I called out that because I'm saying that's his behavior. He's more of a pragmatic manager. I wouldn't say pragmatic, but more of a cautious manager. A little bit more negative, a little bit spineless, in my opinion. I feel like top managers would have approached that after the red card and the substitutions. I believe a lot of top managers would have hopped on that right away and made sure we're going to dominate for the rest of the game. Instead, he wasn't doing that. He was keeping on too many defenders, and he was taking off a striker to bring on a defending midfield, a DM. I didn't analyze the game in any way because there's nothing I could take from this game and build on to next game. We're not going to play Brentford, and Brentford are going to get sending off in the first 4 minutes, especially the goalkeeper. Chelsea are not going to go next game, and they're going to go down to 10 men within 4 minutes. It would be illogical for me to look at either team and say whatever performances they did last game is most likely going to happen again. Right. Managing behaviors, there's a lot to learn about Maresca and Ruben Amorim from this. One was a coward and one was a little bit more pragmatic. That's it. It's fine to say that. Okay,
so just so I want to make sure I understand you. I'm not trying to catch you out here. So you only consider analyzing a game. You only consider that when what you're analyzing can be reproduced in the next football match. If it's a game that has an anomaly like a red card, like a massively bad VAR decision, you're just talking about that game in isolation, but that isn't called like analyzing a performance. Analyzing a performance for you is only when you're analyzing the analytic stuff you take out of it can be applied to another game. Just so I understand you. That's what you're saying.
You can analyze the game in isolation if you want, but if there's behaviors and traits that can't be repeated in future games, which let's be honest, this game was an anomaly, what's the point of talking about that? You could, but you're not going to talk about it in a way that's going to be repeated.
You spoke about it, so fair enough. At least I understand where you're coming from now. You obviously went in on the manager, which is fine, but if there's no point in going in on the manager, my question, and this is rhetorical, would be, why'd you bring it up then? But look, let's move forward on to Chelsea. Let's talk about Chelsea's current situation, Staffy. Let's go.
I don't even know if I can talk at this point. You're going to get up again. Your face is going to go red. I don't know what to do.
That's just because I'm pasty and white. It's nothing to do with anything else. So
it's anger. So
I just get out, man.
I actually laughed at you. I thought it was hilarious. Personally, I go red when I laugh. I go red when I go angry. I go red when I'm doing the horizontal hula. It's what happens with skin like mine. But there we go. Back to Chelsea, Staffy. Let's do it.
I don't even remember what we were saying anymore.
Injuries, man.
Injuries.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, injuries. You got to tell us about your injuries now because you guys have been sucking. I can't lie. But no Palmer. You're going to Brighton. Sorry, you're hosting Brighton. Yep. You got to tell us what you're doing, bro, because I'm hearing some of you guys want your manager out. I'm hearing now people complain, by the way, about your left-hand side not being good enough. Surprise, surprise. Maybe if you listened to some United fans, we would have told you that you probably need a little bit better than Garnacho. Your center-back issues, your goalkeeper issue, and yeah, your manager issue. There's a lot of issues right now. And by the way, if you don't win the next game, you're most likely not beating Liverpool. I don't care if you've been performing well against them over the last few games. It's probably a game that you're destined to lose. You could be seeing yourself in a situation with 5 games and no wins.
Broski, it's not a new topic that the left-hand side, most Chelsea fans weren't happy about it. Big up Reaper in the chat. He watches Blue Diaries every single Monday and that. And bro, I've said many times, Garnacho's not the guy that I would have bought. You know what I mean? I would have gone in and bought a Rodrigo. I would have even bought in Dai, and then you have a Gittins, and then you have a Garnacho off the bench. But when it comes to our injuries, bro, it's a problem right now, man. Obviously, Cole Palmer's out until the next international break. Cole will know about the ACL. Delap should be back in November. I know there was a clickbait thing going around about start of the year, but when I actually read the article, it said he's still back in November. Lavia don't exist to me. You know what I mean? Until I can see this guy fit for 2-3 months, he don't exist. He's just there. Maresca said earlier he might be in the squad with Badia Shield tomorrow. Badia Shield is another one that picks up just random injuries. And Asugo should be back in the new year. So, boy, it looks like the Club World Cup has played a massive part in all these little injuries that we keep picking up, man. Because last year we didn't have this many injuries, bro. I'm seeing already. I think only Sunderland have more injuries than Chelsea. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy, man. Because our style of play isn't as ping pong like what it was with Poch. But right now it seems like these guys have been overworked. So this is the consequences of playing that tournament that we did. I wouldn't change it for the world, of course, but we have to firm it. But even with the injuries right now, like I said with Pochettino, I'm not using that as a reason as to why we can't beat Brighton, because you've still got Esteval there, you've still got Palmer in the team, you've still got Gil you can play up top and play João Pedro behind him, an actual striker up top, right? You've got Neto you can start on the left. Our centre back situation is peak right now, right? And it'll probably be Chalobah and Josh starting tomorrow. That's probably the weakest part. Obviously Sanchez is back in the team, but we still have enough quality to be beating Brighton. I'm sorry, bro. We've still got enough right now to see us through. The Liverpool game is gonna be hard, of course, because we haven't even Tosin's not available now, and he hasn't been great this season, right? But we still have enough to be doing better, and that's where I'm looking at Maresca to be making better decisions, right? In terms of the in-game management, how reactive he's been. He hasn't really been proactive this year. He's been reactive more than anything. Playing George up top. I reckon George might even start tomorrow up top. I know he scored the goal.
Can you talk about that? I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you. Can you talk about that? Can you talk about Tyreek George coming ahead of Gittins and Garnacho last game? I think that said a lot. He came on up top though. He didn't go on the left. He played up top. This is what I'm saying. It's not Tyreek coming on. But it doesn't matter where he played. Let's just be honest. It was the first attacking sub that he thought of. Whatever his strategy was to bring him on or where he wants to play him, he looked at his bench and Tyreek George, who's I believe he almost left on loan.
No, he nearly left permanently, bro. Fulham. He nearly went Fulham permanently.
Permanently as well. All right, there you go. I thought it was loan. And then he's coming on for your two signings that combined for 90 million, whatever it is.
Yeah, but Staffy,
this says a lot, bro.
Yeah, of course it says a lot, but you're not listening, bro. He brought Tyreek on up top, so the conversation shouldn't be Gittins and Garnacho. It should be Gil, bro, and Tyreek. Because right now, Gil seems to be Gil is fourth choice. He's even behind Tyreek. He's been playing Tyreek up top. And I've got
I don't care for that. I understand what you mean, because you're looking at profile of what he was looking for to play as a striker. At least go for you. That's not what I understand what you mean. I'm talking about the idea of an attacking sub not
he said he was going to do it. Okay, I get it. He said he was going to do it, but then Fofana told him he's tired. He needs to come off. So that changed Garnacho coming on. So he actually said in the presser, I was about to bring Garnacho on, but Wes said he's not. He's tired and whatnot. We know Fofana, bro. This guy's out for the next 3 games. He's concussed. He's another one that's injured right now as well. Terry, I don't think you put him on that list. He's out for 3 games, bro. Yeah.
Is he actually concussed for 3 games?
Yeah, he got a concussion.
He's not. I mean, when you look at these games, right? These are the next games a lot of those players are going to miss. Like, genuinely, Staffy, Don, how many of them do you think you are honestly, like right now, just looking at the match, how many do you think you're actually taking W's in?
Bro, I think we can definitely beat Brighton. They're a team who actually like to come out and play. They're not going to just sit in a low block the whole game. Obviously, teams like to come to the bridge and change to a back 5, but big up Ryan from Talking Seagulls. I spoke to him earlier. He said he doubts that he's going to go to a 5. So I reckon we can beat Brighton. Benfica, we obviously played them in the Club World Cup and we dusted them. You know what I'm saying? But that was obviously with a stronger squad. All right. But again, it's all about how he uses the players that he's got right now. We can have a bigger conversation about the recruitment, and there's many things I agree with in terms of the centre back situation, the goalkeeper situation, the left hand side. I agree with all these things. But for me, Terry, we can't change anything right now because the window's shut. So me constantly complaining about the recruitment now is a waste of time. We can only really do anything in January and go again in the summer. But as it is right now, the squad that we've got is locked in. So use that squad properly, right? Don't be playing Reece in the midfield ahead of Santos. Right now, if you need to drop Enzo for Santos, you do that. Yeah. If you need to play Gil up top right now ahead of George, you do that. Because George is not comfortable up top. He does not like his back to goal. The only time I wanted him up there, Terry, was when we had no one available last year. If you remember, Jackson and Gil both got injured last season, right? I wanted George up then because there was no one else. But now we've actually got a guy that's there, been training. No man are treating this guy like we didn't buy him from Barcelona. He's actually a good player, but we're not we're not seeing him. We're not seeing him.
Does this feed into some of the, again, rumors I've heard this week? When I say rumors, I'm not in the know. I'm talking about people have been mentioning that, maybe there's a little bit of a Maresca board issue where there's players that kind of the board have brought back from loan, but he ain't playing them. The fact that, he weren't involved. He weren't even involved in midweek, was he? He wasn't even on the bench as an example.
Well, we didn't get told because basically there was the whole rule. Because remember he played for Sunderland, he scored for them in the Carabao Cup.
He's cup tied. Okay.
Yeah, he was meant to be cup tied, but they changed the rule, so he can actually play now. He can play in the future games, but apparently they told Chelsea late, so he didn't even travel to Lincoln.
Okay, fair. That makes sense. But aside from that, I have sort of heard the rumorings that there's a bit of frustration and annoyance and everything else. And I suppose when you go 3 games without winning, those things are probably always said, and there will be a lot of fabrication in it. But are you nervous at all about your season? Because you've got games coming up that you should win, but I know that you didn't predict winning the league, but you did predict finishing above Arsenal. A lot of Chelsea fans predicted being in the
changed my prediction after the window shut, by the way.
Okay,
we haven't done a new prediction. I changed my prediction after the window shut because I thought we were going to get Xavi Simons. I was still hoping was going to go get a centre back, right? But bro, Arsenal squad right now is better than Chelsea's. You know what I mean? So I think they'll probably finish second, and Chelsea, I'll probably say maybe third, fourth. Playing like this, probably fourth. But yeah, man, we need to improve our performances, Terry, because as a fan, you only get and it goes back to what Staffy was saying earlier. You only get confidence in the team when you're seeing your team playing well. I can't just look at the win, or even like against Lincoln the other day. I was still fuming after that game, even though we beat them. I'm like, you guys are not playing well right now, So it's early in the season. Liverpool have been far from convincing. Arsenal have been far from convincing. We've been far from convincing. So I'm just hoping now. So as a fan, you can hope as well. I'm just hoping that something clicks and we start to play a lot better, because Chelsea haven't been playing well, and I can admit that. And playing like this, like I said, you're gonna get top 4 max. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just praying in the January we bring back Saar from Strasbourg. We do something, because I can't be seeing. I know Tossin's injured right now, but I can't be seeing Tossin and Chalobah every week. There's no balance in that back line. We've got no left-footed centre back in the team.
Yeah,
right
you
now.
left yourself short, bro. Listen, obviously not you, your club. You guys, you left yourself short in this in the window. The minute Colwell went down, it's evidential now that you need a centre back. And look at you.
And goalkeeper. I know. Yeah. Listen, I know we have a bit of a laugh and a banter in the group chat about it. I know you not a big fan of Donnarumma, but this too many Chelsea fans, I think, were too accepting of what Clearlake wanted to do. Sanchez just.
I wanted Mania. I was happy with Mania, bro.
No, I understand. Yeah, what I mean by happy is people are like the goalkeeper's a massive issue at Chelsea. Huge.
Here's the thing. Yeah, I understand what you mean when we talk about the goalkeeper. Hold on. One second, Dan. I'm not as worried about Sanchez. I don't think he's good enough for them to win the league. I already know that. Does he have a bozo moment in him? Yes, I agree. I am not as worried about him as I'm worried about the centre backs right now. I've seen him actually perform well in games. That Bayern game, if it wasn't for him, I think he was arguably Chelsea's man of the match. If it wasn't for him, that 3-1 would have probably been 5 or 6. I've seen him have his bozo games and I've seen him have his good games. The reason I don't highlight him as much is because I look at a lot of teams. Not a lot of teams have amazing goalkeepers anyways. You could still have a very good backline and be bailed out when you don't have a good goalkeeper, or just not a goalkeeper to the level that you want to win the league. If you ask me right now, if you project Chelsea to win the league, what changes they need to make, Sanchez will be one of them. But when I look at them now, I think they have a bigger issue with their centre-backs than they have with the goalkeeper. Their centre-backs, they're not good in the air, as we've seen last game. Chalobah's little liability in the air. Without Colwell, their build-up is not as good. The lack of leadership as well. I was having a conversation with one of my friends last week, and we're saying they're missing a John Terry type of leader in their centre back. And I was like, I agree with you, but also I was like, you don't need a John Terry to become a good team, but you definitely do need a little bit more of a vocal leader, someone who leads by example, especially in games like last game. You look at that, and I look at the centre backs. They're probably their most experienced centre back is Tosin Adebayo. And no disrespect, Tosin Adebayo is a rotational centre back in a successful team at best. Yeah. So when he's someone who's consistently playing game in, game out, and mind you, Chalobah was already loaned out last season. They had no plans for him, and they brought him back because of injuries. And then a year later, He's actually starting. It shows me a lack of planning. We can talk about Sanchez, and I don't disagree with you. But the bigger issue for me is you don't have a good enough backline to get you where you want to be in at least being a comfortable top 4 team.
So I
just to work a little bit as well, Terry, before you come in.
Go on.
I feel like for me, listen, people like to miss my point with Sanchez. I want a better keeper than Sanchez. I am not against an upgrade on Sanchez. Again, Reaper's in the chat. We've spoken many times on Blue Diaries, about goalkeeper options. Man are telling me guys like fucking Ramsdale and these sort of guys to go bring in at Chelsea, and Hermansen at West Ham that's having absolute, he's looking like a clown over there, right? Names like this because the goalkeeper market ain't great, right? So I've said many times, bro, if you can bring me an upgrade, a guy that can actually play with the ball at his feet, like what Maresca wants, and also is a good enough shot stopper, I'm all ears because Sanchez is not good enough for Chelsea. But like Staffy is saying, he is being scapegoated this season. Yes, Chelsea need a new goalkeeper, but bro, he has not been a problem this season. Yes, United last week, he fucked up. He fucked up last week, cool. But he's actually had a steady start to the season. You know what I'm saying?
The thing is, though...
Hold on, Terry. Let me finish what I'm saying, right? I'm with Staffy on this one, bro. What was more urgent for us, was bringing in... was bringing in a centre-back, because I've even got tweets from last season saying, bro, we cannot depend on Fofana and we cannot depend on Lavia. These guys are meant to be in the 11. We can't depend on these guys because they can never stay fit, right? So even without Colwell's injury, I've said many times we need to go bring a centre-back. I was praying that we go bring a right centre-back. When I was seeing all our right centre-backs getting loaned, I thought surely that means someone's coming in. You know what I mean? Surely that means someone's coming in. So I was very disappointed. I thought maybe, last minute we'll try for Gahey and that. There was a few whispers about that. We met his agent apparently, but it never happened. And that is what led to me changing my take on the team, changing my prediction on the team, because the areas that I thought we would get, we didn't get them done. You know what I mean? We did not get them done. But how I'm looking at it, Terry, I honestly feel like the way that we've kind of tried to revamp the attack, I feel like that's going to be the next step for Chelsea. I think by next summer, most of these centre backs you're seeing, I think they're going to get sold. I think we're gonna try again.
I don't disagree that you need centre backs, but I think what we have to be very mindful of here in terms of these conversations is it's multiple issues. And some may think the defence is a bigger issue than the goalkeeper. Some may say the goalkeeper is a bigger issue than the defence. But they are both, in terms of your team, they're both big issues, and neither should be ignored. That is my view on this.
100%.
So yeah, Sanchez so far this season in the Premier League, it might have only been one game where he's made a mistake. That's 20%. For me, I think a goalkeeper that has moments like you saw at the weekend in 15%, 20% of their games, and I think Sanchez, you look at the Onanas of this world, Bayandere is one that we have. These goalkeepers, I don't think it matters if they have 5 world-class games, 6 world-class games, 7 world-class games. That moment is on the way, and it's too big a percentage where they make... Listen, all goalies make mistakes in every game, but there's a difference between, could he save that shot? Or, he was a little bit slow off his line. I don't look at that necessarily as a bozo moment. For me, it's conceding goals you shouldn't concede. Ridiculous. I mean, I know there was another game earlier on this season. I want to say Fulham, it might be someone else, where he's got the ball and he passes it out, and it almost went straight to an opponent. Now, you didn't get punished, but that's still... It might be Fulham. I think it was Fulham. So I look at all of it as being an issue. And look, I think you had an excellent summer in terms of lots of the players you bought. But I'm still looking at it and a little miffed that with where you currently sit, same as last January, where you sit in terms of you're a top 4 team, you're world champions, you want to push on to challenge for a title. Ignoring those areas, I think is...
But that's the thing, though, Terry. That's the thing, though. If you actually go back to the window, what was going on, we know Cole, one of his main skills is the way he plays out from the back, right? And when I kept talking about it last year, people were like, oh, what do you mean the build-up play? Broski, you know how many goals we score with Cole just finding that little space, and he just pings it into Enzo. We turn, we're on the attack already, right? We're missing that side of things. That's the sort of profile they wanted to bring in. They were looking in the market. It's not easy to find someone like that, and that's why I was hoping internally we can sort things out with Vega, because Vega is similar to Cole with his left foot, right? We've got Badia Shield, but he can't stay fit, and again, performance-wise, he's inconsistent. Yeah. So this season, Terry, I've not been disillusioned about our centre-back situation and the goalkeeper. I've told you from the beginning, I'm looking at the midfield and the attack to carry us more than our defence. because we have weaknesses back there right now, which I don't think will be sorted out in one window. So that's where I'm looking at us to be outscoring teams. That's where I'm looking at Maresca to be setting up the team better. That's where I'm looking at Santos now to get introduced into the team, because he is he is very, very good off the ball. He's so aware of space and how to defend. He helps us in the box. These centre backs and that, they need help, right? Right now it's only Caicedo really that's helping them. Someone like a Santos will help. Yeah. And Enzo, listen, I love Enzo. I think he's a very good player.
So is it Enzo that you would drop?
Oh, right now at this midfield, bro, no problem. I'll take Enzo out of this midfield right now, bro. Santos, I'll play Santos Caicedo. I'll play João Pedro in the 10. I'll play Mark Guiu up top, Esteval right wing, Neto left wing. You bring Enzo off the bench. That's what I would do, just to have a little bit more solidity, bro, and let him.
I'll be honest with you, bro. Enzo being the vice captain of this team just tells you a lot. That just tells you a lot. It really tells you a lot.
Last season he got dropped at the start because he wasn't playing well. And right now, listen, exactly. he hasn't had a great start. But again, I'm looking at Maresca. I don't like where Maresca plays in, like as a 10. Yeah, I know he's added GNA to his game and whatnot, right? And there's many games where he played well in those positions. But as a 10, like literally right behind the striker, he's not it, bro. Like I saw Poch do that and I cooked him, and it's the same thing as Maresca. People go straight for Enzo, and I'm like, look at where he's playing. You literally saw him against Brentford playing the best position we know Enzo plays, and he played well, right? The moment he gets put as a 10 again, you're seeing the same old shit, yeah? Against Brentford, Terry, the guy had nearly 100 touches of the ball. Against Bayern Munich, he had 33 touches of the ball. So how am I not going to look at the system, right? Man's calling for the ball behind the striker, whereas when Enzo's at his best,
but equally, you were praising him a lot, and rightfully so. He was getting praised a lot for his box crashing. He was starting adding goals to his game. I understand what you mean, because you want him a little bit more deeper so he can go more touches on the ball. But when he's given a role where he can box crash a little bit more, which is something he's been doing well, I don't think that's a massive thing on the manager. I'll be honest with you. I don't look at that and I'm like, you are so crazy for playing Enzo in the 10.
But Staffy, the difference is when he's deeper, he's more influential in games. When he's playing further up, you might see Enzo lose the ball 1 or 2 times, but then that's all people are going to focus on because he's not getting the ball enough. What I'm saying is when he's playing deeper, you might see him lose the ball 1 or 2 times, but most of the time he's making things happen. Whereas when he's further up, people micro-analyze those mistakes because he's barely getting the ball. Like against Bayern Munich, there was one ping that he tried to ping it to I can't remember who was on the right. Yeah, I think it was Neto. Try to ping it, the ball went off, and I'm like, okay, if Enzo was playing deeper, you'd see him do it again, and he would probably hit it the next time. But the next time he's getting the ball, it's like 15 minutes later, right? And that's where I'm looking at the influence in the game. He's not influencing games right now, playing behind the striker. He needs to be moved. You haven't got Cole to help with build up. Move him, and that's where I'm looking at the
I do get that, but he was in the 2 against Brentford that I know you conceded late and the goal shouldn't have stood, but you weren't particularly convincing in that game. The game against Bayern Munich, against Manchester United, it's hard. You can't judge it because of what happened so early in the game. Yeah, but it's not as though he's been playing every game this season in the 10, is it?
Bro, he's mainly been the only game he's played deeper is against Brentford and Lincoln, bro. They're the 2 games.
And Fulham.
Fulham, Fulham he played well second half.
Fulham, but by the way, that's like 50-60% of your games so far. I think. Listen,
Fulham he played well second half.
I praised Enzo last year. I think he had a good to very good season. I just think he individually has not been great this year. I don't think he's been nowhere.
By the way, tell him to give up the whole Mason Mount beef because he just reminded me. I'm so sick of every time watching him, bro. He's forcing this whole beef between him and Mount so much. I'm happy, by the way, with the way Luke Shaw dealt with him.
Argentinian men, though, doesn't he? Remember, he hates Argentinian aggressive men. He's got a thing about it. They definitely stole his
You know what it is, bro? It's just like he does this shit. It's so forced. Mason Mount probably doesn't give a shit. Probably Mason Mount is confused why every time they play, he's the one who's so angry at him. I'm so happy Luke Shaw roughed him up last game. There's a few times where Luke Shaw shoulder budged him, tackled him, and he was letting him know, like, we're here for it. And I like that because he is so fucking jarring, bro. This guy's spending more time on the pitch fucking fighting than actually being influential on the ball. Like, dude, just give it up and actually perform, bro. Please perform. You're the vice captain of this team. And honestly, bro, I don't even know what leadership example he sets. He can sit here and do all this passion shit, but I'm not gonna lie, the performances have not been good.
We're not going to do that, bro. There's been many examples.
We
where
will
Enzo
do that, bro.
Actually,
We
shot.
will do
No,
that.
he wasn't a leader the other day, but again, that whole team was mash up, bro. It was mash up. The best example to put it, Staffy, is like you drive automatic all the time, and someone's telling you drive manual last minute. I was watching them with my right in front of me, and I'm seeing guys improvising, bro. They're not used to playing how we were playing. That shape was mash up, bro. Yeah. But anyway, like I said, these players are not running away. I'm holding them accountable. 60-40%. I'm saying 60% players and 40% Maresca right now. I don't think he's using the team to the best way that he can right now. You know what I mean? I just put it as I see it.
I said it yesterday on my show, and I think Maresca's making mistakes. Managers do, but I don't think he is. I mean, I don't think it really exists at many clubs at the minute. He isn't the problem with Chelsea's recent games. Yeah, he messed up massively with those Man United subs. You can't legislate for that, but there are players that are not delivering as well, and I think that's you've got to be addressed. Plus, some of the recruit again. Look, you judge recruitment when you see it and go, "Wow, that looks great. I think that will work. That's going to be amazing. That looks like a brilliant signing." Sometimes you see a signing go, "That's going to be crap." I mean, Arsenal fans were thinking that about Noni until his injury. They were like, "This is going to be." They were all like, "This is going to be Raheem Sterling 2.0." No one's claiming they signed Maradona, but he was a lot better than I think they expected. But I do look at some of your recruitment now, and I'm just thinking, again, I'm only judging you in a very nitpicky way based on trying to win the league. Compared to like 95% of other teams in the Prem, you're still better than them, and that's fine. But
I'm winning the league, bro. I'll be honest.
That's what I mean.
But I'm judging. I get what you mean, Don. Sorry, Staffy, by saying forget them winning the league. I'm not predicting them to win the league, but I think.
No, I know what you mean. That's the standard you're trying to put them towards.
Yeah, that's what I'm judging them against.
Okay, we should be challenging this.
4 years into a build, not $2 billion spent like CBS do. I think it works out 1.1 billion on the squad. The rest of the money they spent is on flipping and making money, and I think that's absolutely fine. But I am now judging them after winning trophies on how they compete in all the competitions to win trophies because they've had that time, and that's all I'm saying here. And they are behind that curve. And I would say for a relatively easy start, I think it's been I would actually say Man United have had a better start to the season than Chelsea, not on points total, but we've played harder. And by the way, that's not like a flex of Man United. We've been poor and I've criticized large parts of what we're doing. I have expected more from Chelsea, and I'm interested to see when that's going to come. Well, you are a lot better than you've been performing.
Exactly, bro. It's spot on, right? Because just look at the goals that we're conceding. No one here, I don't think even Terry, bro, not the biggest Chelsea fan, most optimistic Chelsea fans would say Chelsea would be in for a chance of competing next season if we was watching the type of goals that we've been conceding the past week, right? Look at all the goals we conceded against Bayern Munich. Look at the second goal against United. Jorgensen's just watching the ball. The only guy that jumped, broski, we got out jumped by a Teletubby, bro. A Teletubby out jumped all the players in the box. Yeah, and man, think that's not a problem. Against Brentford, everyone's sleeping in the box, right? There's 5 players at the front post and Garnacho at the back. Shirley Carter's at the back sleeping, waiting for Phil to come home, bro. Yeah, you know what I mean, bro? Like it's been amateur level.
Is that supposed to be Garnacho?
Shirley Carter is a character in one of our biggest TV shows here called EastEnders. That is a very Shirley's a proper she's one of those hard nut. That is how proper everyone who's grew up on a council estate or a project, the American term in England. There's a woman who looks like that everyone's scared of on the estate, and she's just like just a nutter. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying, bro? So
normally 4 kids by 4 different men as well.
Always different colors as well. You got the mixed race kids, the white kids.
Yeah. The Asian kid, yeah. And then the ginger kid. There's always a ginger. There's always a ginger in there and all.
100%, bro. You get it, man. You get it. But I'm telling you, bro, listen, hey, this week, last week, people catch up. Hey, I'm going to plug up. I'm shamelessly plugging, Terry. I'm sorry. But go catch up on Blue Diaries last week, yeah? I literally put in the title, A Week of Hell. Because it has been a week of hell, right? The type of goals that we're conceding are just not nonsense goals, bro. Nonsense.
Let me ask, because I know you got to go soon, so we're going to do that mixed table.
Yeah.
We're going to do it next week when you've got time. But what's your prediction score-wise for Brighton versus Chelsea? What are you going with?
Oh, I've gone with 2-1. I've gone with 2-1, man. I predicted 2-1.
To Chelsea, yeah?
Yeah, 2-1 to Chelsea, man.
Okay.
You know.
What's your prediction for the Man United Brentford game? I'm going to let you pick it rather than me. Staffy. Sorry.
Oh.
Oh, you want my prediction? I don't give predictions. I'm done. As an agenda-based person, I can't give predictions.
Oh, come on, Staff. Come on.
Nope.
Give your prediction.
Everyone listen to what Terry's going to predict.
You going to give us a prediction, Staff?
Nope. You're the man.
Ah. I'll predict it then. I'm gonna go 2-1 Man United. I'm just gonna be positive.
There it is. You guys got it.
2-1 United, yeah.
Do you not think we'll win, Staffy? Do you think we'll lose or draw?
It's relevant. I have an agenda anyways. Who cares?
Maybe. So if you're not going to answer, then forever hold your peace. We'll go with that score. Palace versus Liverpool. What's your prediction for that, Staffy? Are you allowed to give a prediction for that?
Of course, Liverpool will win. They'll win 38 games of 38 games.
Thank you. We'll go with a Liverpool win then. Thank you. Leeds, Bournemouth. What are you saying, gents?
Leeds, Bournemouth. Bournemouth win, man. Bournemouth W there, man.
We'll go 2-1.
I need to join the fantasy, the Terrace one.
I love this website because when you put your predictions in, it then generates a league table for what it will look like if our predictions come off, which I think is quite cool.
Yeah.
City versus Burnley. What are we saying? 3 or 4-0 to City?
It's an auction. Go anywhere between 3, 4, 5. Depends what you want.
We'll go.
Are you saying he's in order of home? So when you say City, Burnley, City at home.
City home.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. Haaland's on
the
fire.
form that what's his name is on. Haaland is on. He might get a hat trick on his own.
Level, man.
Yeah, hat-trick, man.
Forest versus Sunderland.
Oh, Ange.
Wait. You guys know Ange just got packed by Anthony the other day.
You got what?
I know. He got packed. Yeah.
2-2 against Betis in Europe. So in the Europa League.
Do you know what? I'm going to put this in. I'm going to go 2-0 Sunderland. I'm just going to put a Sunderland winning. I'm putting a Sunderland winning just for a laugh. Spurs. I'll
be honest, bro. I agree with you. He's winless so far, and he got knocked out of the League Cup. Yeah. It's not looking good. I'm
going to put Spurs to beat Wolves. I just think Wolves are so bad at the minute. I'm going to put that in. Aston Villa, Fulham.
Hey, Villa have been shocking, you know.
I'm going to say 1 goal in 5 games, and it was Matty Cash.
I'm going to say draw, man. Like Rodgers, they've been. Was it big up Billy, Villa fan? He was saying how the other night they were ironically cheering when Rodgers would make a pass because he's just been so bad. Like their own fan base have been doing that. I've been watching him as well. Yeah,
bro, they've been shocking, bro. Horrible. 1 goal in 5. And I was told that Watkins is the truth, by the way. But okay, man.
That's what their first game against Newcastle was.
They're not even creating though. I know stats aren't everything, but I've watched 3 of their games. They've got the worst conversion rate in the league. It's worse than Man United's, but they've got the lowest XG created as well. So they're not creating and they're not converting what they are. The whole thing.
Sancho's been coming on and been doing exciting. But
how long has Emery been there?
Unai Emery, about 3 years now. About 3 years. 2.5 years.
I actually want to look into it a little bit because I'm starting to get to that theory that 3 years in, he's just like, halas, it's finished.
Staffy, come on, man. Listen, you see one thing about Villa? They've got money, but because of PSR, they can't spend it, bro.
It's not because of
the squad is still decent, bro.
It's not because of PSR. It's because they overspent. They spent last season alone. They spent 90% of all their money they make just on salary alone for players, not including paying staff, not including buying players and everything else that comes with running a club. They went for broke to re-qualify for the Champions League and trying to win the Champions League. They went for it. They failed in their attempts, and now they're left picking up the pieces. It's no different to you. If you went out tonight, right, and went, right, I'm going to stick it all on red. I'm going all on red. You put all your wages on it, and it doesn't come in. Yes, like gambling might be an issue in some people's eyes, but you made that decision to try to double your money, try to get rich. They failed, right? And end of the day, I ain't blaming PSR. PSR is in place to stop teams doing what they did. Because imagine you just keep spending at that level and you'll ruin yourself. Like, you can't be doing it. But let's go with a draw. Newcastle.
By the way, this is some of the names that are still on their team: Medicash, Konsa, Pau Torres, Ian Matson, Kamara, McGinn. I mean, McGinn is honestly, I don't think he should be here anymore. But Morgan Rogers, Marlin, Watkins, DA, Sancho, Mings, Harvey Elliott. I'm sorry, bro. It's not an excuse. I'm not expecting wonders from this team, but it's not an excuse to have 1 goal in 5. I'm sorry. Like, that's not an excuse, bro. By the way, just everyone who always likes to highlight United players who leave and do well and then blame us. Sancho hasn't done anything yet. No one said anything. Lindelof went there. No one is saying anything. It seems like the people like to come back to us only when a player does well. But when we rightfully get rid of a player and they don't do well, no one says, you know what, United were right for getting rid of that player. They never do that. And I'll tell you what the catch is going to be. They're going to say we ruined them. I can already predict it.
Yeah, I hear that. Newcastle, Arsenal.
Boy. No, you know what it is though, yeah. Hey, I want Newcastle to win, of course, but they haven't really been bagging themselves, man. I can see a draw. I can see a draw more.
You know what? It's gonna be a draw. Get ready, KJ. Epic fail about to come. Yalla, get ready to clip this.
We're gonna let this go.
Bro, I'm gonna fail, bro. It's because of the fucking manager. This team, oh my God, is it torturous towards Arsenal. And what's annoying is that I actually know this team can play better. I am so sick of watching them play the way they do. And people are actually, I feel like we're because of how annoying watching Arsenal has been, I feel like we all argue the wrong things. Like, I see people looking at the midfield saying midfield is the issue. I actually don't agree as much that the midfield is the issue. Is the midfield really inspiring when they see Zubamendi, Rice, and Marino? Probably not. They don't have the best the technical midfield when you put that 3 out. Is the fact that you have an attacking outlet in Eze. Not only do you not want to put him in the midfield, fair enough, you don't even want to put him on the left. There's no way you don't even want to put him on the left, bro. This team, they win the ball and they just keep possession for the sake of keeping possession. That's it. And that is Arteta. It's not even the players. I generally feel bad for the players because I do feel like the players, if they're instructed and set up a little bit better, they will actually express themselves a little bit more. I make fun of Yukards all the time. All right? I always say, Gyukaku, da-da-da-da-da. The man has 3 goals this season, all right? Forget the penalty because it's a penalty. I want to talk about the open play goals. The 2 open play goals that he got was from transition. The guy was one of the best, if not the best transition striker in Europe last season, in my opinion. He scores 2 goals in the transition. Other than that, I never see the manager trying to play in the way that caters for him. He's treating him like he's Mitrovic, which is why, again, reminds me in the summer why he wanted Sesko, but Berta wanted Gyökeres, because he saw, at least overall, I have a player that can run the channels and do all that in Gyökeres. The man doesn't even want to give him creators, bro. And it's so fucking annoying to watch. This team is underachieving. This Arsenal team is way more than capable to go, especially at home, play these big teams and trust these attackers and trust their defenders to do a lot more 1v1 defending and actually bop some of these teams off the pitch. I promise you, this Arsenal team was good enough to play the City team at home last week and actually put a few goals past them because we watched the blueprint this season. Other than United, everyone else has given them a challenge. This manager is way too, and I've heard, by the way, Footy Judge Mo absolutely waffle on one of the straight facts saying, oh, how can a defensive team have 60% possession, something like that? That's a good point, but use your eyes. No, I get what he says when he was like, they don't set up deep. I don't think you have to set up deep to be defensive. What Arteta does, and he does it very smartly so he doesn't get looked at like he parks the bus like Mo says, he has a lot of ball winners, duel winners, and players who get into shape very well on the pitch rather than risk takers. So Marino wins the ball. Marino's not trying a 40-yard ball. He's not trying to dribble someone. He's going to win the ball and he's trying to pass it sideways. So Bamendi tied on the ball. I have no problem with him. Rice, same thing. His players get in shape very well. They don't concede a lot of chances. It doesn't look like it's defensive because they win the ball back, but look at their possession. Their possession, in my opinion, is always ineffective until it comes to long balls and corners and that. And I don't think this team should be playing this way. This team, in my opinion, has reached the ceiling with Arteta with the way they're playing right now. It's 2 things. Either he has to trust them a little bit more and but ask for a little bit more risk taken and actually put more risk takers on the pitch, like Eze, because you didn't pay 70 million for him to come off the bench. Or honestly, bro, you just need to get gone.
Oh, yeah, but
There's no way as an
you
Arsenal
know,
fan you
you
should
know,
be
yeah.
Very
accepting this.
quickly, what do you guys make of what Rob said here? Rob has said that we have a completely new front three without our settled attacking midfielder Odegaard. What are rivals expecting?
Okay, so when he says we have a complete new front three, what does that mean? Because I'm not looking at them, I'm thinking they have a gelling issue. I don't. I'm seeing Madueke every time he gets the ball. The only thing he can do, because of the service that he has, is take on a defender, and when he gets past him, that's it. There's nothing else to do. I'm looking at the other side. What is Gyökeres meant to do? This is me agenda side. I like to joke sometimes. My joking agenda is about rival players. That's for Benter. When I'm being for real, what is Gyökeres meant to do when ever since he's went there, the manager's not playing him for what he's good at? The man wants the ball in spaces. He wants to hunt the ball and he wants to run at defenders. You are not asking him to do that. So when you say it's a new front three, I don't think this manager is trying to play their best ability and they just need adaptation. If Gyökeres is just missing and being unfortunate, I'd be like, you know what, bro? He still hasn't built a connection with Eze. He still hasn't built a connection with Saka. He's not used to the league. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing a style of play that is not even catering for his attackers. His style of play, and I've been consistent on this for a month, and me and Iga had this debate way too many times here. I don't think he sets up his team to succeed for the attackers. They succeed as a midfield, they succeed as a back line, but his attackers, I believe, they're always set up to fail. And until he trusts them a little bit more, and he trusts at least play a couple more attackers in on the pitch or creators on the pitch, you're not going to get the best out of them. I disagree.
Yeah, hey, listen, there's truth in what you're saying, but at the same time, bro, some of these players need to improve. You know what I mean? Like Saka, obviously, you can argue he's just come back from injury and these sort of things. But at the end of the day, bro, he's still one of their key players. He needs to rise. You know what I mean? Like, I highly doubt Arteta's gonna start Eze and, for example, Odegaard at the weekend with just a Zubimendi. But this combination of Rice and Zubi and the Marino or like an Odegaard, it's just not it, bro. Yeah, for me personally, like I've said, bro, wild. Some people might think this is wild. I don't think you need to play Rice in every game, bro. I'll be real. I don't think you need to play this guy in every game. For me, I feel like the way the team is, the players that they've got, the defenders that they've got, he can trust their defense a lot more. He can play just as Zubimendi in that build-up, you know, and have an Odegaard coming back to get the ball, to pick it up, play more like a box-to-box. And then you've got someone like an Eze, who's more of like a natural 10. You've got a Saliba and a Gabriel behind you. You've even got Mosquera, who's good 1v1. Timber's good 1v1. Calafiori is not the greatest 1v1, but he's had a good start to the season. Raya is a good goalkeeper, right? So even if you're conceding a goal or two, Terry, with that setup, right, where you're thinking more about the attack than the defense, you're gonna outscore more teams. You know what I mean? You're gonna outscore more teams because if you score first, yeah, that opens up the game a lot more, right? And it gives the team a lot more confidence. But when it's, you know, Rice or Zubi, one of them comes get the ball, you know, Rice just plays sideways, like there's no real intent with the passing. Like, for example, with Palce, when Palce would get the ball, you see Palce just break the lines quickly and they're through. Yeah. When I'm seeing Rice and Zubi, it just looks against bigger teams, cool, fair enough, whatever. You might want a little bit more solidity. But there's many games, bro, where you don't need both of them, man.
What would you say about Newcastle this week, though? You'd want him against Newcastle, surely.
You probably want him against Newcastle because it's more physical and that. And that's what I said. I don't think Arteta would play.
But this is what I would say, though. So, but this is the thing. The only games this season they've dropped points in have been against the bigger teams. So I do get your point that there might be some games where you don't need Rice. But the only games that they haven't won this season have been against Liverpool and against City in the league we're talking. And they're the teams that you would want to play your best midfielders in. So I do get your point, but I suppose you have to wait, yeah. And then Rob saying Partey never used to do that. I don't know what you're watching, bro. Partey was one of the best in Europe at playing between the lines. He was one of the best at doing that, bro. You know what I mean? Whatever you think of him off the pitch, you don't lie about what you were watching. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm just looking at that midfield. The balance is all over the place. You know, some of these players that they talk about like they're world class. Maybe they're just not as good as what they think they are. Madueke, yes, he's had a okay start, but I'm not seeing anything different. He's not facilitating. He's not really creating many clear-cut chances, right? He's running past people, but what's he doing after that? You know, and now he's injured. Saka, I'm sorry, the other day I saw Dowman come on and just the quality on that side, bro. You know what I mean? The quality is just different on that side with him playing there. So he's another player that I'd be looking at to integrate into the team because I can't lie, Saka's not performing right now, people. Let's be real about it. You know, I just call it as I see it. You know what I'm saying? The left-hand side, Martinelli started the other day, but what's he really doing? You know, Gyökeres, yes, he's not really getting many chances, but
the players around him, when they're getting in spaces to create for him, they're breaking it down as well. You know what I'm saying? They're breaking it down as well. And how long are we going to be talking about Saka's been injured? You know what I mean? He was back for time last season and he wasn't looking good, right? He's just come back right now, so I'm not going to go over the top with it. But I'm just saying right now, he's not performing. That's the facts of it. Whether he's come back from injury or not, he is not playing well. That's the facts, whether you like it or not, bro. You know what I mean? But I've got to go anyway. I've got to go, man.
I know you've got to shoot, mate. Top man. Speak to you soon. So we keeping it as a 1-1 score prediction just on this predictor?
Yeah. I'm gonna say 1-1. I'll say 1-1.
Keep it as 1-1 because that's what this thing does here to get these damn adverts. So Everton, West Ham. What we saying, Staffy? What we saying?
Everton win, bro. Everyone knows I'm a big Everton fan over here.
So let's put all these results in that we've just sat there and done, right? So what it does, quite cool. You press it in, and then it shows you what the league table will look like if all the results go that way this weekend, and it will make very interesting reading. I mean, Liverpool, if they win 18 points, it would keep them 5 points clear with the Spurs win and a Bournemouth win. United would be in 9th, but but what would be crazy is from 11th, Fulham and second place Spurs will be separated by 4 points, which is why you don't take the league table too seriously this early in the campaign.
Wait, what did we predict for Spurs? Who the fuck are they playing?
Oh, they're playing Wolves.
Oh yeah,
at home. So yeah, one of them ones for them. But I mean, that'd be an interesting weekend if those results happen to be in that situation. And
look at Bournemouth, by the way.
Yeah, Bournemouth killing it.
Ariola, we'll talk soon, bro.
Well, maybe. Well, yes and no. I like him, but I hope we don't speak to him. I hope that doesn't happen. Because
it means we're not winning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you. I know you're not a fan of Ruben Amorim. You'd sack him tomorrow. Is that a fair thing to say?
I actually like him a lot. I just don't think it's gonna work.
Okay, you're not a fan of him being the Man United.
Do you forget how much I defended this guy?
Okay, yeah, I remember you sending me all the stats showing me how good he was. But you're not a fan of him staying on as a Man United manager. Would you agree with that statement?
No, with these performances, no.
Okay, so exactly.
So if they continue, unfortunately, as they go.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you. Managers have got to perform, but surely the best outcome for everyone is for him to prove us all wrong, start making us perform consistently and win more games. And if that happens, great. So I'd rather not get a new manager because it would hopefully mean we're winning. Like that's the way. What I would hate more than anything is not get a new manager, but carry on winning 1 in fucking 10 games or whatever it is we're doing at the minute, because that will be shit for everyone. Let's do some super chats here. It's too early to blame Slot for Wirtz's struggles.
Who blamed Slot for Wirtz struggling? Who did?
I don't know. No, I don't.
Is there another straight facts that Slav with a Terry clone and stuff going? Who blamed him? I said he made a great decision dropping him last game, and it showed in the performance of the team in the first half. That's all we said. This is a big decision from Slot, and I like that from him. He wasn't scared to drop an expensive signing like him.
This is about Chelsea from Kenny. He says maybe we just overrated them after the PSG win.
I agree. I feel like most of us, even as rivals, we were trying to be objective and give them their flowers. But I'm not gonna lie, a lot of us look foolish because I had them in a bigger conversation as well. And I was like, you know what? They're playing much more fluid football. Their midfield looks fluid. Their attack looks fluid. They'll probably compete for second place. And right now, they look nowhere near it.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree. I agree. They look nowhere near it right now. And again, I want to keep prefacing this because the Chelsea fans that are listening, I'm not judging you again, because what you'll get is, oh, better than you. Yeah, you are, most likely. But I'm not judging you against Man United right now. I'm judging you against the best teams in England. Terry, we are all we're asking for is Ruben to take risks. I'm not against him taking risks. I'm more, I want to take calculated risks. So I think, for instance, I agree with he should have kept Šeško on the pitch. One of the reasons I would have kept Šeško on was because Ahmad isn't playing very well. To be absolutely honest, that's nothing to do with, if Ahmad was absolutely purring at the moment, Mbeumo I think is playing very, very well for us, then maybe I would have gone with that decision. But he isn't playing very, very well. So that would be what I'd do. The only reason I disagree with Staffy is I wouldn't have taken a centre-back off that early in the first half. I was actually more critical of the players for not scoring 2 or 3 more goals. I was very critical.
We were lacking control. I needed the midfield to be a little bit more controlled. So when Casemiro got sent off, I would have took off a defender. I don't think we needed 3 defenders to sit behind the ball. I think if you gained control of the midfield, we would have been a lot more comfortable. And we weren't. That's, by the way, Joshua Jack. We agree and we disagree. I wouldn't even label that as risk. I think I would limit it as bravery. Risk is if we're losing and you just throw the kitchen sink. That's taking a risk.
Yeah,
But we didn't need to do that. We didn't need to take risk. I just needed a little bit more spine from this manager.
Listen, I look at it this way. We had the majority of the ball. They weren't a threat against us. I like what we were doing. I thought what we were doing was sensible. We were slowing the play down, which I thought was smart because it becoming frenetic in that weather would have suited 10 men Chelsea. We slowed it all down and we were luring them in, setting traps and then pouncing on them. We should have got 2 more goals with that methodology, but the players messed up, and then Casemiro stupidly gets himself sent off. And by the way, I still watched the foul back. I don't think it's a second yellow.
It wasn't even a foul, I'll be honest. Or a second yellow, sorry.
But for me, yes, but you don't give the referee that decision to make, because football, this has gone on in English football for a long time. Most fans agree with this as just a theory, which is if you benefit from going down to 10 men very early in a game, most of us have always felt that referees will look for an opportunity to equal things out. They just, something about it always feels real. But
it's a psychological thing, yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. By the way, the word Staffy wouldn't without the space is banned in super chats for some reason. Just so you know, you can try yourselves if you're rattled. Again, you've done this before.
They try to cancel greatness.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Abin Rumor. What a name, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have done this. You have done this before, my friend. You have been on here before, and you have said that certain words are banned and certain things don't work. And we've all sat there and gone, well, show us, screenshot it, and then send it in. So if anybody wants to do a super chat right now, if anybody wants to click on this, on this here, and because I think it works. Can I type Staffy in? I'll just type Staffy in and it works. If you want a super chat, what I'll do, my friend, super chat £100, and if it goes through, we keep it. If it doesn't go through, you've got to show me a screenshot. It don't go through though. What I will do is I will double it and give you the money back. I'll PayPal it to you tonight, my friend. So give that a go, please.
You will be forced to send me half of that, so go ahead and send it.
Yeah, and I'll give half to Staffy as well. So there we go. After the YouTube's 45% deduction, of course, because they are scumbags like that. So we could all do it. So let's see, people. Well done, Staffy, for calling out his lies. Man just flip-flops. Any 1 week he wanted Amorim out, just didn't mind Southgate. Now he's keeping Amorim, but that isn't what I said, though, is it? You know,
great super chat.
You're now lying. So what I said is that if he goes, I'm not overly against it. I'm not sitting here and going, oh my God, this is the biggest mistake ever made. If he stays, he's got to improve and his win percentage has got to go up. But I also said that we are so broken. I'm not going to sit here and cry about Southgate coming in. Equally, if we went and got Pep Guardiola, I'm not going to suddenly get my boy out and go, oh my God, we're fixed. I have lost faith in us getting fixed, whether that's playing nice football consistently or getting back to the top. And I felt really down. But what I also said that you're missing, and there is an element of, if you want to call this flip-flopping, that's the language you want to use, I'm very comfortable with it, bro. My view is very much this, that, how do I say this in the right way? That I said it literally straight after the Grimsby game. I said, right now, my faith is gone. I said, but some performance and some wins could earn it back again. And that's the nature of being a fan. It is very up and down. The same as I know, I'm speaking on behalf of Staffy here. I'll see if he agrees. If we play well against Brentford, well against Southampton, Sunderland, win, go away, play well against Liverpool, get a draw, win our next 2 games playing well, Staffy will have a different view and opinion on Ruben Amorim for that period. He won't maybe change his whole mind. So that's not being a flip-flop, though. That's new evidence presenting itself. So, yeah, thank you. But you're wrong again. You always try and get me, bro. I appreciate you. At least you try and get me with super chats. That's why I do respect you. You're not just doing it with big capital letters. Ding, ding, round 2. There was a knockout in round 2. I love Don.
And you got knocked out.
Yeah, that's what happened. I love Don, but when he tried to compare Enzo to Cesc, bro, what are you smoking? But still, big up, bro. Do you know what I think? I wish he was here to say this to him. To be fair, I saw this super chat and I was going to wait to the super chat section, but there is this element of he bigged up Mahala Mudryk. Now he's retiring from football, going to become a sprinter. He used to defend Madueke. Yeah. He used to defend Madueke with his life. Goes to Arsenal, he plays him down. Enzo was he's poster boy, the best this, the best that, the best other. How do you fix Chelsea at the minute? Yeah, you got to drop Enzo. It's just, there's these little moments that I do find funny. I do find, because I remember him telling me that he thinks Enzo is Chelsea quality. And I view a Chelsea quality midfielder, the way I view that phrase, I view it as there's someone that can rub shoulders with other great midfielders from your history. That's what, when someone goes, oh, is that a Man United midfielder? I know that's probably not helpful to us growing at the moment. Me and Marcus spoke about this week. But if someone goes, oh, that's a proper Man United midfielder, my view is, well, are they around the Charlton, Scholesy, Carrick level? Like, that's what I consider it. And yeah, Enzo Fernandez nowhere near a Chelsea midfielder at this moment in my time. And that's me respecting the Kantes and the Balaks and the Lampards and all the guys.
I'm sure he is. Yeah, no.
I don't even know. Like older Chelsea fans, would you put him above Dennis Wise? Like I'm genuinely asking that question. I don't know if you would. Now I've said that, I've got to Google it. I swear Dennis Wise was a central midfielder. I probably got that wrong and he's a centre back. But I think he played central midfield. Yeah, he was a midfielder. I was glad then. He retired when I was still quite young, to be fair, but just wanted to double check. Actually, no, didn't he quite in 2006? He was still playing in 2006. Jesus, we was in Chelsea in the 90s when I was young, is what I meant. Arteta versus Diego Simeone, Harambo.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. They're gonna get cooked. Athletic, they're gonna get cooked. They're garbage.
Every team goes through it. Chelsea will be back soon. Yeah, they might do. Listen, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in to the show this evening. It means a great deal to us. We're back. When are we back? We're back tomorrow for the match reactions. That's the next Football Terrace shows. I'll be live tonight, 8 p.m. on the United Stand, plus live on Terry Fluers TV. You can scan that QR code and go and check it out. My first episode of FIFA, well, not FIFA anymore, SC 26 career mode. Am I going to ever go tonight? People have been asking me to do it for a while, so we'll see.
Who's the first guy you'd sell as a United manager?
The Man United right now, Onana.
The first player, I don't know, but forget him. He's probably loaned out anyways if you do the update. Based on the players that are here right now. The first player you'd sell and the first player you'd sign.
First player I would sign, Belieber. I just gonna go and get him because I want him at United now. First player I'd sell. People are gonna think I've got a mad agenda. Harry Maguire. Just move it on.
Last question.
Go on.
Last question. As soon as you start, Real Madrid approach you, 200 mil for Bruno Fernandes, yes, and your budget's pretty low. What do you do?
200 million, yes.
I'm kidding. 100 mil.
Yes.
Okay.
You know what?
All right. We got it here.
I will say though,
Terry hates Bruno. Clip this. FIFA, Terry exposed.
FIFA is different for me because the way I play, I need fast players. That's the way I play the game, if that makes sense.
That's how the game is.
For instance, I'll never buy, like, maybe when you get the right cards, if you do Ultimate Team, but like, I don't like playing with Palmer on the games because he's too slow for how I like to play. Yeah. So it's that's the thing I find with FIFA is some of the players I love in real life I can't play with on the game because they don't suit. I like to run. I'm a runner in that way. Thank you all for tuning in. This is going to redirect you to Hussam and Mo on FHM. So go big up my bros over there.
MHF, not FHM. What the hell was that?
That's actually a magazine with girlies in it.
I was about to say, isn't that a radio or something?
No, FHM. I've done it for FHM. Is like a light porn magazine.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
It's like girls,
MHF.
Yeah. MHF.
And Hassan football, whatever.
That's my dyslexia there. Listen, everyone, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.